room. This is the play that just occurred.
That's like she tries to slide over right there, and Hartley just kind of falls and makes collision with that lower leg. You see her immediately grab it. And she went down hard and was clearly in a lot of pain.
Sophie Cunningham went down after a brutal knee collision, and many fans, including Sophie's own family, immediately called out the officiating for failing to protect players. To them, this was simply the latest chapter in what feels like a disturbing pattern, the dangerous groin hit that sidelined Caitlin Clark, the infamous eye poke from J.C. Sheldon, the reckless foul by Marina Mabrey. Every matchup with the Sun seems to leave someone on the Fever in pain, and frustration is clearly boiling over. Yet, instead of collapsing, Indiana fought back. Behind Kelsey Mitchell's career-high 38 points, Odyssey Sim stepping in off a hardship deal, and Lexie Hull's clutch 3, the Fever stormed to a 99-93 overtime comeback win that no one thought possible. The real question, though, is how this team managed to turn it around after such a disastrous first half. If you support Sophie and the Fever, let's wish her a speedy recovery in the comments below. Let's go.
Shot clock down to 6 for the Fever. Turner, up fade. Turner kicks it. Hull three-pointer. Bottom!
Indiana,
7 on the shot clock, 25 seconds in regulation.
they gotta get to the rim.
Charles has to hoist and connects. Wow. The Indiana Fever prove their resiliency.
Fever down! Bow! Head up in the chat. Bow. Yeah.
For Indiana, the problem started long before the opening tip. The Fever entered this game without all three of their true point guards. Caitlin Clark, still sidelined with the groin injury she suffered in mid-July, Sydney Coulson, out with a torn ACL, and Ara McDonald, recovering from a broken foot. That left the roster without a natural floor general, forcing coach Stephanie White to completely rethink how her team would function offensively. Instead of polishing sets for the postseason, like most squads at this point in the year, Indiana had to narrow the playbook and lean on simplified actions, ones that wouldn't overwhelm players suddenly asked to handle the ball outside their usual roles.
After Phoenix, it was a quick turnaround to figure out, how we're going to play without, Ari and Sid. And now we got to figure out how we're going to play without Soph. And we've got to figure out, who can play in certain roles. What are our substitution patterns going to be? What kind of wrinkles can we throw out there? It doesn't get easier. And I think we come back and have Minnesota twice, right? So it's really good mentally, physically, and emotionally for us. And then it gives us practice time, which we're going to need.
The challenge only intensified once the game began. Midway through the second quarter, Sophie Cunningham took a hard collision while battling under the rim. She managed just about 10 minutes on the floor before having to leave for good. Her shooting and toughness had been central to White's patchwork rotation, and losing her meant the Fever were down not only bodies, but also spacing, a core ingredient of their offense. Suddenly, roles expanded for players who weren't prepared to log heavy minutes, and White's staff was left juggling energy, matchups, and sheer survival. By halftime, the rotations looked dangerously thin, with the Fever scrambling to plug holes wherever they appeared.
We got Sophie Cunningham writhing around in pain, definitely hurt, and Sophie's one tough cookie. If Sophie's kicking and screaming like this, no Will Farrell. She's in pain. We even have Connecticut Sun players. Look at that. Connecticut Sun players, Connecticut Sun training staff coming up to her as the Fever starts making their way down.
On paper, everything pointed toward a loss. Yet, instead of collapsing, the team embraced the disarray and treated it as an opportunity to showcase grit. It was survival mode, yes, but also a statement that reduced numbers didn't equal reduced resistance. What nobody inside the arena realized at that moment was that the night's hardest blow hadn't even arrived. It came next, when Cunningham's brutal collision not only altered Indiana's lineup, but also reignited the firestorm over how the game was being officiated.
Every day in our huddle, that's what we say together. And it's just more than words for us. I think when really you see things happening, there's no other way. If you spread apart, the season goes down quicker than anything else. And we talk about with the injuries, people are probably expecting us to just fold, just like you said. And that's not us. We come in the locker room and we're motivated. We continue to be motivated every single time we step on that floor. At halftime, we're motivated, chip away. And that's our mindset. And just continue to uplift people. When one person goes down, we say it all the time, the next woman stands up. And that's really just been our motto and been what we've had to do a lot this season, and that's what we're just going to continue to do.
The defining moment came midway through the second quarter, in one of the scariest scenes of the season. On a drive to the rim, Bria Hartley lost her balance and fell directly into Sophie Cunningham's right knee. The collision froze the entire arena. Cunningham immediately clutched her knee, screaming in pain as she crumpled to the floor. Unable to put weight on her leg, she had to be helped off by trainers, with the Fever later announcing that she would undergo an MRI to determine the extent of the damage. No foul was called on the play, and that decision instantly ignited outrage both inside the arena and online.
How does she magically lower her shoulder into Sophie Cunningham's legs? Can somebody please explain that to me? Can somebody please explain those physics? Again, don't want to hear it, because this is a dirty play.
Fans reacted instantly, many stood, waved at referees, and shouted for a stoppage as Cunningham writhed in pain beneath the basket. Yet the game continued while she lay on the floor, a sight that fueled anger not only in the stands, but also among her teammates. Their starter had to be carried away, and still there was no whistle, no signal from the officials. After the game, Coach Stephanie White admitted that her first thought, upon seeing Cunningham in such visible distress, was blunt and unfiltered.
Do you have an update on Sophie? Yeah. Yeah, MRI tomorrow.
Sorry, just quickly on Sophie. What's going through your mind when you see her down like that, and you're jogging over there?
I'm like, holy shit. Especially the way that she fell and, how she was holding herself and how much pain she was in. At the time, it's like crap. And then you go down there and you see her and it's like, okay, just want her to calm down and be able to
For most fans, this felt like more than just an accident. Coming against the Sun, it seemed like another entry in a troubling trend. Memories of previous collisions hung heavily over the moment. J.C. Sheldon's eye poke on Caitlin Clark back in June, Marina Mabrey's hard foul that flattened Clark, and Sheldon's knee to Clark's groin on July 15th, the very injury that has sidelined her for more than a month. Many fans and commentators openly labeled those plays reckless and questioned why stronger disciplinary action had never been enforced. Against that backdrop, Cunningham's collapse didn't look like misfortune. It looked like yet another star made vulnerable in a pattern the league has failed to address.
Oh, and Cunningham is down. My goodness. Should be. Scary moment as we went to commercial. Sophie Cunningham hit the floor hard and she is being helped off the floor, heading back to the locker room.
If emotions were already high, they boiled over once Cunningham's family weighed in. Her sister Lindsay posted directly at the WNBA, writing, WNBA, maybe you should focus less on finding players for commenting on your poor officiating and more on hiring officials capable of calling a consistent game and protecting your athletes. Pathetic. Praying for you. That wasn't just a frustrated fan in the stands, it was a family member outraged by what she saw as a dangerous environment. Paula Cunningham, Sophie's mother, also shared a since-deleted post, calling Hartley plain mean and her plays out of control. Those words carried weight, shaping how people perceived the incident. For many who saw the comments, it only reinforced the belief that players weren't being protected.
Bria Hartley deserves zero benefit of the doubt. And Sophie Cunningham's family not too happy. I believe this is Mama C Hartley is a disgruntled player having trouble everywhere she goes. She's playing mean and plays out of control. Looked out of control to me. Maybe you should focus, her sister. Maybe you should focus less on finding players for commenting on your poor officiating and more about hiring officials that are capable to call a consistent game and protect your athletes. Pathetic. Praying for you. The only good thing positive surrounding Sophie Cunningham come out of this game, she looked in good spirits in the locker.
At the heart of it all was the question of accountability. Hartley's history of on-court clashes, well documented in past reporting, only intensified the reaction. Fans on social media accused her of being reckless and demanded a suspension, while others called on the league to step in and re-examine officiating standards, intentional or not. The fact that no whistle accompanied Cunningham's injury sent frustration boiling over. That shift proved crucial. It signaled that this game wasn't going to be decided by sympathy or by officials suddenly changing course. Instead, the Fever leaned into emotion and resilience. As the closing stretch loomed, all that intensity began funneling into one player, whose sudden takeover would go on to rewrite not only this game, but Indiana's entire trajectory moving forward.
I'm so proud of you. I'm proud of you too. Proud of you. I'm so proud of you guys. I know that sometimes it sounds like just a word when we talk about being resilient, but it's not, man. It's how we live. Yep. It's how y'all live, and it's a tribute to you. It's a tribute to your connectedness, your togetherness, your toughness, your mindset. You never give up gritty attitudes. Like, that's what it takes. That's what it takes. And
Kelsey Mitchell answered the chaos with one of the most explosive scoring stretches the Fever have ever witnessed. She entered halftime with just 4 quiet points, but after the break, everything changed. Mitchell demanded the ball, attacked every matchup, and by the final buzzer had poured in 38 points, tying her career high and setting the mark for the league's highest single-game scoring performance this season. Even more staggering, 34 of those points came after halftime, including 10 in overtime when Indiana needed them most.
An assassin, Kelsey Mitchell, has a new career high. Backdoor Mitchell bouncing in the paint for 2. Kelsey Mitchell, the big is matched up. Mitchell squeezing through for 2 at the fall. Fouls on the other end. It's Mitchell launching it.
The efficiency matched the volume. Mitchell went 11-4-22 from the field, 5 of 8 from deep, and 11 of 12 at the free throw line, all while dishing 6 assists to keep the offense from collapsing into pure isolation. Every shot seemed to carry more weight than the last, with the margin for error razor thin. Having trailed by 21 earlier, one wasted trip could have swung momentum back to Connecticut. Instead, she delivered in the biggest moments, step-back jumpers in the fourth, back-to-back threes that erased deficits, and free throws that sealed overtime possessions. This wasn't reckless gunning, it was precise execution under pressure.
Your New England Ford dealers and the Ford Bronco family goat modes, the official SUVs of the Connecticut Sun. Mitchell connects.
Reading the defense. And reckless closeout, so you have to make sure you let the shooter land here. Landing space needs to happen. Looks like Mitchell also clutching her leg here as well.
Regular closeout review. If it is, it's going to be just make 1. Okay, go take 1 in.
Coach Stephanie White admitted afterward that she was speechless, insisting, "Mitchell put us on her back. Big shot after big shot, big play after big play." From the sideline, it looked exactly that way. Even the Suns' defenders, who spent most of the second half glued to her every movement, couldn't disrupt the rhythm she had locked into. By the time overtime arrived, there was no doubt whose game it was.
Kelsey, your second half, you get 34 of your points just now.
Damn!
don't.
The last after halftime, what took over you? How did you get it done on the floor?
I think it was more about what we did from a standpoint of like the mindset and the mentality from half to half. It sucked for me first half. It just wasn't, and I think that, it wasn't as well for our group, but the resiliency is true in our room. Seeing Soph go down and then knowing what happened with Sid and knowing what happened with Ari and then knowing what happened with Cece, it's like, I think a lot of it was just God and being able to like stay prepared and stay in your mental state to be able to compete. But I really think that that's the most resilient that we've ever been because of everything we've been through. So I think a lot of it you just tap into your team and you just love on your team. And I think, great things can happen.
This eruption also etched Mitchell's name deeper into franchise history. Her 38-point performance marked her 11th career 30-point game, passing Tamika Catchings for the most in Fever history. That wasn't just a milestone, it highlighted Mitchell's consistency as a scorer across seasons, now amplified in a year where her team leans on her more than ever. Averaging nearly 20 points per game, she ranks among the league's top 5, and nights like this place her firmly in the MVP conversation. Recognition came quickly. Caitlin Clark, absent from the arena due to a family matter, posted just 2 words on social media, MVP Kels. Mitchell's performance proved the Fever had more than one franchise anchor. She didn't look like a placeholder until Clark returns. She looked like a centerpiece capable of carrying the roster when everything else was wobbling.